to freedom, dignity, and self-determination. There has been hopeful movement in the talks to secure an agreement on this deal. And as I just told Prime Minister Netanyahu, it is time to get this deal done. So to everyone who has been calling for a ceasefire, and to everyone who yearns for peace, I see you and I hear you. Let's get the deal done so we can get a ceasefire to end the war. Let's bring the hostages home, and let's provide much-needed relief to the Palestinian people. And ultimately, I remain committed to a path forward that can lead to a two-state solution. And I know right now it is hard to conceive of that prospect, but a two-state solution is the only path that ensures Israel remains a secure, Jewish, and democratic state, and one that ensures Palestinians will finally realize the freedom, security, and prosperity that they rightly deserve.
Boo.
And I will close with this then. It is important for the American people to remember the war in Gaza is not a binary issue. However, too often the conversation is binary, when the reality is
because one side is doing genocide, dumbass.
So I ask my fellow Americans to help encourage efforts to acknowledge the complexity, the nuance, and the history of the region. Let us all condemn terrorism and violence. Let us all do what we can to prevent the suffering of innocent civilians, and let us condemn anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and hate of any kind.
Bro, she moved. She
and
moderated
let us work
10%.
to unite our country. I thank you.
She fucking moderated 10% on the issue from Biden. Biden is also committed to the two-state. Biden does, however, say it's all the death and destruction is on Hamas.
Time to get a deal done. Alex Marquardt joins us now
cheeks.
again. Grateful for you standing by for us. I mean, look, she was quite forthcoming, or forthright, I should say, in that statement, but also made it clear that the message is coming time and again to Netanyahu that they're expecting this ceasefire will get done, if not in the coming days and in the coming weeks.
And Paula, these were remarks that were scripted. This was not something that was off the cuff. This was not; these were not answers to questions from reporters. She didn't take any there, and so that really drives home the point that this was a message that she really wanted to deliver and make understood. And I am struck by several parts of it. Not in terms of any kind of shift in policy. There were some rather predictable parts of it. She started off, as I noted before, probably that she was going to mention the ironclad commitment to Israeli security, which she did. But then she went on to talk in very strong and sympathetic, empathetic terms to what the Palestinian population of Gaza has been going through for the past 9 months.
Oh, the gaslighting is going.
She talked about the situation being catastrophic. She expressed serious concern twice. She said that it is devastating. She talked about desperate, hungry people, and then said very clearly, "I will not be silent." This is stronger language, I believe, than we have heard from President Biden over the past few months.
Yeah, no shit, dude, because Biden was saying, dead Palestinian children are great.
The voters who have been upset by the Biden administration's policies, many of whom have said they will not vote for him. Certainly there's going to be an effort to try to bring them back into the fold. She said, "I see you and I hear you." And then she went on, Paula, to lay out some of the specifics in this ceasefire deal, which, again, you and I have talked about a bunch. But she also talked about things that are not the first 2 or 3 items that we generally highlight. She highlighted the fact that in the first phase of a ceasefire, the IDF will withdraw from population centers. That has been a major Palestinian demand. That has been a major Hamas demand. That is a sticking point that is on the table right now, particularly when it comes to southern Gaza. And then she went on to say in the second phase that the IDF will withdraw from Gaza entirely, to highlight the fact that the Israeli military needs to pull back from these cities and then eventually pull out of Gaza completely, I think is really striking. These are interesting things for her to really hone in on, particularly because yesterday in Congress, Netanyahu said that the Israelis are going to have to maintain a security presence.
Oh my God, they're
Gaza for
playing
quite
with
some time to
Kamala.
come. So this was a really interesting set.
The fact that
of quite
Israel,
strong remarks,
as of this
from the
morning,
Vice
said that they
President,
added
and I will
additional
be very
demands,
interested to
including
hear
not leaving the Philadelphia corridor,
Yeah,
implies
kinda
that
get
like
the
they're
sense
doing
that
the
his
same
speech
Biden
in
song and
Congress, which
dance.
we say she chose not to attend, is literally ringing in her ears, and she wanted to put counterpoints to that speech entirely. Alex, as always, so grateful that yet again you were at our side to guide us through this and really fill in the outlines of what, as I said, was a very forthright statement there after her meeting. Alex Marquardt.
Is it just a demonstration of what you said, the famous story of 100 soldiers who were transferred from the Gaza envelope to Hawara shortly before the 7th of October? If any chatter recognizes the name Hawara, it's where earlier in 2023, a gang of settlers accompanied by soldiers did a horrific pogrom where one died and many were injured. It's also the village Smotrich famously said should be erased from the earth. Yeah. That's before October 7. In terms of like the security flaws from Israel, to answer that American Jewish chatter's question, this was, by the way, not unexpected. Israel's been at this game for, 76 years. You missed the front part of her speech where he says she will demand and hold Israel to withdraw from wider Palestine than Gaza, and she won't waver on it. Wait, really? Wait. Hold on. Let's see what the fucking full speech said. Maybe there's some good shit in there and I missed it.
So I just had a frank and constructive meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu. I told him that I will always ensure that Israel is able to defend itself, including from Iran and Iran-backed militias such as Hamas and Hezbollah. From when I was a young girl, collecting funds to plant trees for Israel, to my time in the United States Senate and now at the White House, I have had an unwavering commitment to the existence of the State of Israel, to its security, and to the people of Israel. I've said it many times, but it bears repeating.
Colonizer trees. Colonizer trees to create a European aesthetic. Everyone in this chat knows this already, though. Colonizer trees to literally fucking replace entire Palestinian villages. She doesn't know that, though, obviously. She definitely didn't know when she was a... She definitely didn't know that when she was a child, and she probably still doesn't know that. It's like a really... There is... It's, What are you talking about? See, a lot of chatters don't know this. Planting trees is like a common way for Israel to get donations. And you think you're doing something good because you're like, who the fuck doesn't like planting trees? When in fact, it's actually trees being planted, contributing to the ecocide of the naturally occurring ecosystem in Palestine. And not only that, but also on top of that, it is trees that are of a European aesthetic, deliberately planted to make Israel more European coded, directly planted on top of entire Palestinian villages that they've burned to the ground a long time ago. It's one of the most like nefarious ways in which Israel presents something like genuinely positive. Because like, who the fuck would be anti-planting trees? You know what I mean? It sounds ridiculous, but it works to effectively erase Palestinian indigenous history. It is also known as eco-fascism. But yeah, it's classic. It's insidious, not nefarious. You're right. I mean, it is nefarious, but it's also insidious. Insidious is a better word. But it is pretty crazy. This is not conjecture, chat. It literally appears on Zionist colonial pamphlets. Don't look into why the JNF, the largest organization responsible for settling Jews in historic Palestine, is today mostly known for its forestry work. Also, don't look up what their executive director, Yusuf White's, thought about Palestinians. If you're an advisor to Kamala, how would you advise she realistically pivot from the Biden stance? I already said it. I said it earlier today. Benjamin Netanyahu is playing politics at a dangerous time when democracy is on the ballot. That's why Joe Biden did the brave thing and stepped aside for a younger, more vibrant candidate to basically continue on his legacy of accomplishments. Benjamin Netanyahu is playing fast and loose with American politics. This kind of interference is completely morally repugnant. He has more serious things to worry about, including a pending ICC arrest warrant application. And also, his actions in Gaza have understandably drawn a lot of criticism from the rest of the world. Israel has turned into a pariah under his leadership for these reasons. And last but not least, it seems like Benjamin Netanyahu is more popular in the Republican Party in Congress than he is in Israel. I will reaffirm my commitment to defending freedom of speech in this country, which still very much exists. Thank you very much. And I will reaffirm my commitment to ensuring that America bring justice to this world, and specifically to Israel, like Israel and Palestine. The only way for permanent security for Israelis and Palestinians alike is to ensure a swift ceasefire process. The hostage families that were arrested on the Capitol are demanding that from Netanyahu. Meanwhile, the Republicans are clapping like seals whenever Netanyahu lies about the actual civilian casualties, or refusing to render humanitarian aid, refusing to send humanitarian aid into Gaza, which is a war crime. The funniest part about it is that because Israelis are the most entitled fucking freaks on the planet, like the nationalist Israelis, they will literally call her like the N-word because she said she wants a two-state solution and that like there must be a swift ceasefire. What is this? From their reporting, Kamala Harris just expressed support for Israel, but Israel must cease their military effort, withdraw from Gaza, agree to a two-state agreement. Israel supporters are losing their shit on social media and calling her slurs now. There you go. Like the issue of Gaza, there's two things I know. Okay? Well, three things. One, Americans don't give a fuck about foreign policy until it becomes the main point. And that's all they care about, like the Vietnam War, right? However, you can use that to your fucking advantage if you want to do something right. The other part of this, the other thing that I do know is that Americans actually like doves, whether they are Republican or Democrat, more than you would think. Maybe not immediately after 9/11, but they do actually like doves. Donald Trump has consistently presented himself in the last 3 election cycles as the peace candidate. Now, of course, it's not real, but he's still selling himself as that. And people can't fucking comprehend how good that is as a talking point. That's what's so frustrating. Like, Americans don't give a fuck about foreign policy, but I promise you, you will not get electoral consequences for being pro-peace. That is not a thing. Americans just don't want to think about it, okay? It's so frustrating that I have to fight this battle on 2 different fucking playing fields. Obviously on the playing field of morality, right? Because it is utterly unconscionable to continue this genocidal campaign of a foreign nation upon some of the least protected people on this fucking planet. But it's also simultaneously electoral poison. You have no reason to be this firmly committed to Israel, okay? You don't. People think it's a fucking nuisance. People think it's annoying that it's still happening and that they have to think about it, okay?
Israel has a right to defend itself, and how it does so matters.
Ooh.
Hamas is a brutal terrorist organization.
No.
On October 7, Hamas triggered this war when it massacred 1,200 innocent people. including 44 Americans. Hamas has committed horrific acts of sexual violence and took 250 hostages. There are American citizens who remain captive in Gaza. Sagi Deko Hen, Hirsch Goldberg, Poland, Idan Alexander, Keith Siegel, Omer Nutra.
I hate this shit so much. The fucking Hamas started this, bro. Come on, 76 years. Like, what are we talking about? Don't even fucking mention it. Yeah, she's doing the same both-sided shit that Biden was doing, but she is more positive. Megaphonics, you're right. She's just 10% more. She's just 10% more progressive than Biden is, or 10% more pro-Palestinian than Biden is. But because Biden was like 200% committed to Israel, getting to 190% commitment to Israel doesn't change the game that much. Is she on Bernie level? I don't think she's on Bernie level. I mean, Bernie also says Hamas started it, but overall, like, I don't think Bernie spends this much time talking about October 7. You only do that if you want to justify Israel's current actions. You are trying to contextualize Israel's 40,000 death toll by constantly reiterating that Hamas started it on October 7. So they can't acknowledge it? Brother, acknowledge reality. 76 years of occupation and an apartheid. That, by the way, isn't just my estimation because I'm like some fucking woke guy. Like, the ICJ declared Israel to be an apartheid literally 2 fucking weeks ago. The ICC has arrest warrants out for Benjamin Netanyahu. Israel dick riders are literally so fucking delusional. They live in their own world where they live in a world where they're like, no, this happened on October 7th. That's how this happened. It's just October 7th. It was really violent. And then that's why Israel did this. Acknowledge reality. Saying this all started on October 7th is not reality. On October 6th, the Euromed Monitor literally came out with a report that said 2023 has been the deadliest year for Palestinian children. What was happening to them? Why were they dying, you think? That was before October 7th. How are they dying? It's just ahistorical to fucking say October 7th is when all of this started. Anyway. And then she continues on with like the American victims or the American Israeli victims. And it's just like says their names. Are you going to sit there and read fucking 40,000 names of Palestinian children that have been murked? Palestinian women that have been murked? Palestinian men that have been murked? Because we'd be here for a lot longer than the last fucking 5 minutes of this video if she was going to start fucking reading out names. Come on, man. Doesn't that make you a Hamas dick rider? Isn't Hamas killing his own children as well? What do you mean Hamas is killing his own children? What do you think Hamas is doing? You think they're going door to door and just like shooting children? What are you, fucking stupid? What the hell's wrong with these people? It's just like pure delusion. How do you argue with a guy who's just like operating on the basis of like not the most violent militant state that has been an occupying force illegally sieging this as a belligerent occupier, illegally sieging their open air prison? It's actually not them fucking blowing up people willingly. It's actually Hamas that's like killing the children. The Islamophobia in America is so big and so many liberals in this chat is showing it. Yeah. Like, I don't get it. Like, well, what do you mean? Isn't Hamas just killing children? Yeah, everything is Hamas, dude. You're right. Isn't that convenient? Doesn't that like make you even a little bit interested, like a little bit interested in and want to like scratch the surface a little bit more? Like, it seems a little bit convenient that like Hamas is killing their own citizens and it's not like the fucking nuclear militant state. Like, I guess they're using F-15s on their own people. You want to read the names of the Americans and charity workers killed by Israel? I don't think so.
And the remains of American citizens Judy Weinstein, Gad Haggai, and Itai Hen are still being...
You are literally in the deep state. Stop talking about politics. I know, chatters. I know that like all of your fucking edgy rightoid, you know, alt-right adjacent, sometimes centrist commentators like to posture against like women in gaming or whatever, and that's why they're bold and brave warriors of free speech. But suspiciously on this one issue, they never actually have that same level of smoke for a Jewish ethno-state that is currently engaging in ethnic cleansing, claiming that they're doing it for Judaism, which is a lie, by the way. Why is it that so many of these edgy content creators always have the smoke for like random fucking trans people on the like? Now I'm not even talking about like Ava Chris Tyson or whatever. It's just like regular trans people living their fucking daily lives. They're all pedophiles. Oh, I'm just edgy, bro. What do you mean? And then when it comes to Israel, they're like, wow, Hasanabi at it again. It's giving anti-Semitism, sweetie. Someone should do something about it. Like, get the fuck out of here with this. Like, oh, you're being edgy, or I mean, sorry. Oh, you're a Fed. What fucking federal agent is doing this? People are objectively cowards on this, okay? Objectively. And my expectation isn't even that they say anything about it, right? Because God forbid you don't appear brand friendly, okay? But when they actually course correct and hit it from the other side of the issue and like defend Israel with full loyalty, unconditional defense to Israel, we must attack Israel's haters. That's when I lose my shit. I'm like, you're such a fucking boner, dude. You are such a fucking little bitch. Like, you're supposed to be this like edgy guy, right? And then, oh my God, you talk like a fucking 75-year-old neocon when it comes to Israel. Nah, Islam is actually so disgusting. A side is way overdue. Like, think about the callous indifference that this person demonstrates when talking about genociding the entire Muslim world. There's more than 1 billion people on this planet. That's got to be a Euro chatter, by the way. The European mind is astounding. The Angloid brain is like 3 steps removed from Hitlerian politics. Bro, there's only 2 sides of this coin, man. It's either you hate Islam or you do not care what the faith say they are. In your support, you side with the side more. Then he proved your point. There's only 2 sides of this coin, man. It's either you hate Islam or you do not care what faith they are, and you support your side with more. There he proved your point. Anyway. This is advocating for a genocide. That's 0 steps away from Hitlerian politics. No, I'm saying like he's advocating for a genocide, which is Hitlerian politics, but it's like 3 steps removed before he said this. If you look at his fucking commentary, I'm sure. Oh, never mind. It's his first statement. Russell is so fat. Russell would be ashamed to have you in his fucking chat. Dumb fuck. Like, think about, like, there is no world where you could say this for anybody else. People still do, but you can't say it. Like, the consequences for saying this for Islam and Muslims in general are so marginal in comparison to saying it about any marginalized group. Okay? It's actually crazy. Like, you could just straight up say, you know, Islam is disgusting and it's warranted to genocide all Muslims, and it's not like seen in the same spectrum of like saying that about Jewish people, saying that about black people.
Being held in Gaza. I have met with the families of these American hostages multiple times now, and I've told them each time they are not alone, and I stand with them. And President Biden and I are working every day to bring them home. I also expressed with the Prime Minister my serious concern about the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians. And I made clear my serious concern about the dire humanitarian situation there, with over 2 million people facing high levels of food insecurity, and 500,000 people facing catastrophic levels of acute food insecurity. What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. The images of dead children and desperate.
Yeah, the Surfs is right, by the way. The Surf said, this is like markedly better than Biden, and this is literally just bare minimum shit that like this is bare minimum, and it's on a different playing field as Biden. Now that I look at the whole speech, and that isn't to say that she's doing a great job. She definitely is not. That is simply to point out how unimaginably ruthless Biden was. It is wild. Acute food insecurity pisses me off. Yeah, it's starvation. It's like deliberate mass starvation as a weapon.
Hungry people fleeing for safety, sometimes displaced for the second, third, or fourth time. We cannot look away in the face of these tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent. Thanks to the leadership of our President, Joe Biden, there is a deal on the table for a ceasefire and a hostage deal. And it is important that we.
Why were the protesters there spray painting Hamas coming on stuff? Because they're fucking edgelords and they're LARPers. During the BLM protest, there were people saying like, fry them like bacon, you know, cops are pigs, fry them like bacon. Did that change your attitude or your opinion about police brutality in this country? When I get mad at right-wing protests, I don't just get mad because there's like some Nazis at the protest. I get mad because the entire movement is fundamentally fascist, okay? You have to look at the actual reason for why people are protesting. What do fucking right-wingers protest? They protest like not taking out a Confederate statue. You know what I mean? Why would you want to have a Confederate statue up there? Why did the Confederate statue get built? These are things you have to think about. It's not just like a couple people or even the damn near entirety of the movement for Charlottesville going, Jews will not replace us. That is the most offensive aspect of it. The rest of the movement is also offensive. The goals are offensive. All of that is not in line with my worldview. Do you get it? Whereas with leftist protests, with progressive protests, people always try to go for like the most extreme, the most extreme angle to be like, see, this is how it is. Yeah. Women's reproductive rights law. Exactly. What? Bro, I'm not an edgelord. I'm just talking about the truth that you're part of the deep state. And no, I'm not a fascist. No, you're not. You're just schizophrenic. You said vote RFK. Like, you listened to me fucking rant about Israel and then turned around and said vote RFK, which is like the exact same position on Israel as Joe Biden. You're just hallucinating shit. I don't know how to have a conversation with
We
you.
recall what the deal involves. The first phase of the deal would bring about a full ceasefire, including a withdrawal of the Israeli military from population centers in Gaza. In the second phase, the Israeli military would withdraw from Gaza entirely, and it would lead to a permanent end to the hostilities. It is time for this war to end, and end in a way where Israel is secure, all the hostages are released, the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can exercise their right to freedom, dignity, and self-determination. There has been hopeful movement in the talks to secure an agreement on this deal. And as I just told Prime Minister Netanyahu, it is time to get this deal done. So to everyone who has been calling for a ceasefire, and to everyone who yearns for peace, I see you and I hear you. Let's get the deal done so we can get a ceasefire to end the war. Let's bring the hostages home, and let's provide much-needed relief to the Palestinian people. And ultimately, I remain committed to a path forward that can lead to a two-state solution. And I know right now it is hard to conceive of that prospect, but a two-state solution is the only path.
Who's fucking up the talks? Kamala. The admin can't hide behind Biden's age at this point. You know? The admin could have hid Biden for the most part and only fucking trotted him out every now and then to be like, Israel, the best nation on earth, and the Palestinians have an ancient bone in their brain that makes them anti-Semitic. It's ancient anti-Semitism. I hate it. Jack, we beat Israel, Jack. Like, he would say shit like that, okay? And then the media would, pick up whatever they wanted to fucking hear from that psychotic nonsense. Hold on. Hello, cutie Cinderella.
Hello.
You're on
happy
stream.
Birthday.
You're on stream.
Happy birthday from all of us. We wish you happy birthday so we can party too.
Okay, thank you.
What are you doing for your birthday?
I'm streaming, and I'm not really doing anything for my birthday. I'm just streaming. I'm talking about politics right now.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Cool birthday. We can go to dinner. Do you want to go to dinner?
I think on Sunday potentially. Wait, someone is at my door, and I don't know who it is.
Oh, drama alert.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, it's just delivery. Hold on.
Oh.
I just unlocked it. Oh wait, I think
delivering something.
I think you just tossed it over the door.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, fuck. I don't know. I don't know what he did. He might have just left it outside. Hold on. I might have to go grab it. Anyway, what's up?
That ensures Israel remains a secure, Jewish, and democratic state, and one that ensures Palestinians can finally realize the freedom, security, and prosperity that they rightly deserve. And I will close with this then. It is important for the American people to remember the war in Gaza is not a binary issue. However, too often the conversation is binary, when the reality is anything but. So I ask my fellow Americans to help encourage efforts to acknowledge the complexity, the nuance, and the history of the region. Let us all condemn terrorism and violence. Let us all do what we can to prevent the suffering of innocent civilians, and let us condemn anti-Semitism, Islamophobia,
Anyway,
and hate
I gotta go.
of
Thank
any
you.
kind.
Made a birthday cake
And let
on
us
stream.
work to unite our country.
We could have made a birthday cake on stream. Yeah. I mean, we could still do that if you want.
I didn't know. Well, when?
I don't know. Well, I guess.
You can do it Sunday.
Yeah, sure.
Is that what you want?
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that idea. We
What'll
can.
make you happy? You sound depressed.
I'm not depressed. I'm talking about depressing things right now as a part of my
Yeah.
job. That's what it is. But I'm not depressed at all.
Genocide. Oh,
Yeah.
awkward. Oh.
You're leaving DreamCon to DreamCon and to Chicago? No. Wait, what? No, I'm not going from DreamCon to Chicago. Why would I go to Chicago? The DNC is happening in August, like 15th or something. Yeah. All right. Well, what could we do? I mean, I guess we could do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do a shorter stream tomorrow before I fly out to Texas. If you're down, if you're available.
I just have a thing at 3:00, but I could do it after. I could do it. I
No,
could do
it would have to be
noon.
before, maybe, or right at that time, actually.
Oh, right at 3:00. That doesn't work.
All right, let's do it. Let's do
We
a
just do it
Sunday.
Sunday after the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's do that.
Wahoo! Birthday stream, birthday party Sunday. Chat, bring your hats.
All right. All right.
Bring
Thank
your
you.
freaking hats, chat. Bring your stuff. Bring your balloons.
Someone's calling me a communist and a Democrats are in control, meaning that you were in the control of the deep state. He's
I
not
don't know what
invited.
any of that means. That
Bro.
guy can't come to the party.
Yeah, he's not invited. He said, bro, I'm not schizophrenic. I'm just high, okay? Got problems being high makes you self, and self-awareness makes you smarter. And that makes me clear that you are part of the deep state.
Right.
Trust me,
okay.
I've seen files from the War Thunder Discord servers. It says that you are part of the deep state.
Right. All right.
This is the type of shit I deal with on a daily basis, not just on my birthday, but every day. If you're wondering why I sound down.
I do try not to hang out with you.
Oh my God. That's fucked up. Okay, now
Really?
you done made me sad on my birthday.
Ruin his birthday.
Now I'm
Ruin his
actually
birthday.
sad.
All right, everyone, put your hats back on. Put your hats back on. Wahoo! Party
Okay.
on Sunday. Birthday party.
Everybody put your hats back on and subscribe because at the top of the hour there's a 3-minute ad break.
Decorate a cake. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, you didn't even hear that. Anyway, all right, I gotta go. Thank you, Cutie, for calling.
Yep, you're welcome. Goodbye now.
All right, bye. That's right. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Decoy1666. Thank you for the 5. Get the subs. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Why are you like this? Why is no one asking what happens if Israel refuses to abide by U.S.'s deal? Nothing. Nada. Absolutely nothing. I feel so bad for Cutie. You sounded so depressed. I'm not. I'm not. Why would I? I don't know. This is just how I normally sound, I think. Maybe I just normally sound sad. Maybe I'm just a sad guy. Why not give the Jewish settlers Palestinian citizenship? Good one. That'd be funny. Who could be depressed with such voting privilege? I know. We could be in Eritrea right now, not being able to vote. And yet here we are in America where you can vote between two options if you care about like pesky little thing like genocide. You got such great options. It's like genocide light versus genocide ultra. You sound much happier on Fear and when you don't, and then you do when streaming, but most often, but who cares? Yeah, of course, because I'm just hanging out with friends.
I thank you.
I give up. Play this. It's a banger. Trust. What the fuck is this? Church of Jesus Christ?
You've had a birthday, shout hooray. We want to sing to you today. 1 year older and wiser too. Happy birthday to you. You've had a birthday, shout hooray. We want to
Hooray!
sing to shout today. We've had a birthday, shout today. You've had a birthday, shout today. You've had a birthday, shout today. We want a birthday shout today. We want a birthday shout today. We want a birthday shout today. We want a birthday
Hooray!
today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, cutie Cinderella. I don't believe this tradition. Rejected. Why? It's goated. I love the LDS. I'm a Mormon now. This may be too parasocial, but your mannerisms kind of my autistic brother sometimes. Okay, guys, I'm fucking locked in. Okay, when I'm locked in, I'm not going to come across very cheery. Okay, there's friend mode and then there's locked in mode. Right now, I'm talking about genocide. It's a little different. Okay, that's what it is. It's not like autism. It's not a million different things. Okay, it's just I'm fucking locked in on my news coverage. 5 hours in, talking about fucking Israel committing a genocide and talking about American support for it and what must be done in order to change the trajectory of American foreign policy. It's going to be hard for me to be super cheery. That's it. Okay, let's hear what they're saying.
Israel was one of the biggest issues where whenever it came up, the White House would say there is no daylight between the vice president and the president. And I do think this is going to be a really important space to watch to see if in the coming days and in the coming weeks, we do start to see a little bit more daylight creep in between the two.
All right, MJ, thank you very much. And here for our conversation, Estelle, let me just start with you. It is,
Shit!
you know, interesting.
That's crazy that Estelle was just on the Hasanabi podcast. Now he's on CNN.
Because of being vice president, she can be in that room and then look like a commander in chief, right?
That's
and to
so
take that,
funny,
and she
bro.
did it, and she sees it, and she went immediately to do that. So, you know, what are you hearing from your sources to this fundamental question? And I know there's not necessarily a definitive answer right now, but is this burst of exuberance
come
and
on.
full surge? Does it have longevity?
I'm fucking goated, dude. Holy shit. Holy
point. Harris gets
shit.
the benefits of incumbency as she's in the office right now, because I think we're going to see the White House intentionally lean on her in these big moments to be able to show her someone who's grown over the past several years. I remember when I was reporting on her last year, they would make a point to say that she was more respected globally than even she was appreciated domestically by Democrats. And that's been a place where she's seen a lot of emphasis. I think they're going to try to roll that out. And I do think that even if the policy and differences between her and Biden and Gaza are small, the rhetorical differences and the kind of empathy for Palestinians that she's made a point to show over the last several months might be the kind of tonal difference you see between her and at the top. But to the point about does this last, part of that is the question of whether she can capitalize the upside that she clearly has in differences from Biden. The groups that are most marginal Democratic voters, younger people, Black and Latinos, folks who are outside the process, they're clearly more favorably see her than Joe Biden. The question will be, does that turn into preference that actually moves votes consistently? Right. And I think that's going to have a policy question behind it that we haven't really gotten to yet.
Right. Now, and Alyssa, to this point about commander-in-chief, and Netanyahu happens to be the man of the moment. The commander-in-chief got a meeting, the would-be Democratic commander-in-chief, and now, of course, he is going to go meet Trump tomorrow at Mar-a-Lago. So he's going down there, and that's significant. So What are the optics of that, especially when Trump came out and actually said, thought it was interesting, they got a PR problem.
Sorry, I'll stick with the streamer whose guests are mostly banned everywhere. Thanks. Well, yeah, that's how you know I'm deep state.
What happened, that it was going to be Joe Biden. Netanyahu came to give this address yesterday thinking it was Trump versus Joe Biden, and now you've got Kamala Harris as the person running. I think it was incredibly savvy of her to give these remarks, and I would say this. They were nuanced. There was a little something for everything. She condemned sexual violence by Hamas. She said it committed unwavering support, but then also leaned into saying she recognizes the plight of the Palestinians. This is, I think, where most of the country is, and something that Joe Biden has kind of struggled to articulate during this crisis. It'll be interesting to see how tomorrow goes. There's a lot of bad will, I would say, between Trump and Netanyahu. Trump never got over the fact that he congratulated Joe Biden when he won the election. But I also think that that relationship can be healed.
David, so let's just throw the poll up again from the New York Times. That's the one that shows Harris statistically tied with Trump. He gets a post-convention bounce. She gets obviously significantly more than that because Biden was down 6 points in the same poll. So what do you think, David, in terms of how real this is? I mean, it's a moment in time. Is it more than that?
Well, I think it's real. The question is it sufficient? What she is doing is she's beginning to coalesce the Democratic base that helped elect Biden 4 years ago, and that Democrats need to win national elections. And that includes enthusiasm and participation and support from younger voters, from the African American community, from Hispanic voters. She's doing better than Joe Biden was. Those voters were drifting away from him, which accounted for a lot of his problems. So that is a good sign. And the fact that she's closed this gap so handsomely in just a few days is a good sign. But if the election were today, she'd still lose, and she'd probably lose by a significant margin in the Electoral College, because Democrats have to be ahead in the national poll to win because of the way population is distributed around the country. But this is certainly good news for her. And the question is, can she expand beyond it? One other point, she does open up new fronts in the electoral map. You know, one of the reasons why she has suffered in the Sun Belt states is loss among African American voters, loss among Hispanic American voters in places like Nevada and Arizona, even New Mexico. And the fact that she's doing better among those voters is a good sign that she might be able to fight her way back into those states. And that would give her more options on the path to 270 electoral votes.
Mayor Bottoms, you know, do you think that opening of the electoral map, I mean, how huge do you think this is going to be for her? I mean, Biden had essentially given up on, I think it's fair to say, North Carolina. I would say Georgia, too. And now, are these really states she can win?
Absolutely. No one believed that we could win Georgia in 2020, and here we are. And in fact, the vice president is returning to Georgia again on Tuesday. She has been here multiple times. There was a whole list put in today's Atlanta Journal-Constitution newspaper of all of the visits that she's made to Georgia. And she's not only focused just on Atlanta, but also some of the metro areas and some of the other cities in the state. Specifically, she's gone to Gwinnett County, where there's a lot of diversity in Gwinnett County. And I believe right now in Georgia, 34% of the electorate is African American. So that's going to make a significant difference, having her at the top of the ticket. And the enthusiasm is very real here.
Instead, you know, the Harris campaign, Trump's interview, they responded to it. They said, 78-year-old criminal.
AIPAC
right?
added
Emphasizing
again.
two important points there, age and conviction.
AIPAC added again, by the way. Cory Bush is already being outspent $10 million to $2 million.
People who were doing the Biden campaign. And that is just not something that would have been said. Or
I don't even know if it's AIPAC, but I suspect it is. I'll look into it. Where are they coming? Oh, nope, it is. Yeah. United Democracy Project. No, that's Fair Shake, Mainstream Democrats PAC, DMFI. Where's the money coming from? New FEC F24 Fair Shake. Democratic Majority for Israel PAC. That's a AIPAC one. Working Families is pro Cory. Anyway, let's get back to this. I'll look at the Cori Bush race in a second.
And kind of own that most specifically. And I really think the third thing is the Dobbs decision gives her a chance to be most offensive on the best issue for Democrats.
Y'all heard this already.
Joe Biden was not
On the Hasanabi
capitalizing
broadcast.
on that issue in the same way that a lot of Democrats are across the country, and she is better suited for that.
Well, she caught the Trump campaign flat-footed because I think they were expecting progressive left Kamala Harris, somebody who supported the Green New Deal or somebody who ran away from her law enforcement credentials. And she is running a general election campaign. She is running as a centrist Democrat. Her message, if you watch, she gives the same stump speech every time she speaks, which works in a 3-month race. She's talking about paid family
Can Cori
leave,
overcome this? Yes.
building the middle class. It's an economics message, a hint of reproductive rights, and then character over a criminal. Like, that's a message that resonates. She's not going through a litany of left-wing priorities, and I don't think that's what they expected from her.
And that's where she's most comfortable, where she is right now. She was uncomfortable 4 years ago when she was trying to appease the left.
David, what do you think is the backstory here to President Obama? Of course, he's going to endorse her. He'll probably do it with great fanfare, but that doesn't change the fact that he's the last one to do it. And, you know, he didn't just jump in the water feet first.
Yeah, well, I don't think he wanted to look as if he was putting his finger on the scale. He didn't know whether others would jump in the race, and he thought he could help pull the different strands of the party together if there was, in fact, a fight for the nomination. And he wanted her to win this thing on her own. And what she did was she went out and just organized the hell out of this thing in a very short order and secured the nomination within a couple of days. So, you know, now I think, yeah, he's going to be a full-throated supporter. They've been friends for a long time. I don't think there's any question of his support, but I don't think he wanted to be I don't think he wanted to be a kingmaker. I don't know if you call it queen maker. I don't know, a candidate maker, a candidate maker here, but I think he wants to be a strong and avid supporter, and I think he will.
Mayor Bottoms, what's your single greatest concern right now?
Voter turnout. That's always the biggest concern, making sure that we get people out to the polls. It's great that we're all excited. I think the other great part about now candidate Kamala Harris is she does get to keep her day job. So we get to see someone who's well established on the world stage. She's met with more than 150 world leaders, traveled to 20 countries. Now we just got to make sure that we are getting people to the polls. For as enthusiastic as we all are, if we don't get people to turn out, I mean, it's a turnout game. That's it. Every election is
Which is
a
really
turnout
amazing.
game.
I mean, I'll just take a step back on all this and say it is amazing in the world that we're in this country, that it is all ultimately still comes down to turnout. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. And next, J.D. Vance getting pummeled by the left for his comments about childless cat ladies. Jennifer Aniston speaking out. This one was very poignant, as Harry Enton has some new numbers on just how helpful Vance may be or may not be to Trump in what for Trump are the must-win Rust Belt states. Plus the breaking news, we've got incredible new reporting tonight from inside Team Trump, as they are scrambling to take on Harris, and their surprising admission about Harris's appeal. And just in, new video of U.S. fighter jets intercepting Chinese and Russian bombers flying together off the coast of Alaska. It was a first, but what does it mean?
Friendship. I personally think friendship should be allowed. Yeah, United Democracy Project is the top spender against Bush, 7 million out of 10 million today. They are hard labeled pro-Israel PAC. It's led by Chris Delizio, who is formerly a leader of AIPAC. I think United Democracy Project is like one of those AIPAC subsidiary groups that just like hides behind the username of not being AIPAC, like directly affiliated with AIPAC. Why does the media think it's better to be centrist? I don't know where to begin with that one. Okay. Can you explain why it is that the U.S. backs Israel without question? I know part of the reason we have to do a strategic location along with research packs like F-35, but there's has to be more. That's it. What do you mean? It's literally one of the most significant, most consequential relationships we have. It's a resource-rich region. You have the Suez Canal right there, and it just happens to be smack dab in the middle. That's it. Like, what more do you need? Israel is our attack dog in the Middle East. It is a military base that we can use. It has its own espionage facilities that we oftentimes collaborate with. And that's it. So, centrism appeals to liberals because there's like, it's, have you ever encountered a dumb guy that always like misunderstands the mean, the golden mean, and will often say things like, well, there's a little bit of fucking truth to both sides of every equation, right? That's what it is. You're appealing to the lowest common denominator. It's it's a classic dumb guy position. That way you capture the attention of the dumbest guys. Okay? That's it. It's a way to feel smart and level-headed without having to confront any hard problems. Yeah. Now the problem is, you said there's little downside. The Dems shift a bit on Israel-Palestine, at least on partisan grounds. But what about DMFI and all these PACs that go after Dems as they see too sympathetic to Palestinians and attacks on them on issues other than Israel-Palestine? What are we talking about? We should be held hostage to a fucking foreign entity that gets to literally operate as a foreign lobbyist without any sort of FARA violations? No, slap the foreign agency registration on them immediately. Okay? What a wild situation. The issue of Israel has to be attacked on partisan grounds. That's it. It has been bipartisan for far too long. It is not bipartisan. It should be seen as a partisan attempt